Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roadmap to Freedom. We're at the seventh session of the project. Let's move to the next failure. It's the failure to apply a scientific method successfully outside of the physical sciences. Many of you heard of the scientific method, however, it's the exceptional individual who understands this method, and it's even more exceptional who understands how to apply it. I will show you how to apply this scientific method as a practical method to build solutions to our principal social problems. The scientific method will also be explained to answer one of the most profound and important questions of all time, namely, what do you do when you make an error in your thinking? First of all, how do you identify when you made an error, an intellectual blunder? And secondly, how do you correct the error? The next failure that has led to the present social crisis is, please listen carefully, the failure to apply precision semantics outside of the physical sciences. Man has failed to apply semantic precision to the fundamental terms, the fundamental concepts that form the entire structure of our society. To illustrate, let's look at three important terms: freedom, crime, justice. What is freedom? How do you achieve it? What is crime? How do you prevent it? What is morality, and how do you maintain it? Ask a dozen people at random to define those terms. Will you get the same answer? Ask a dozen PhDs at random to define those terms. Will they agree? Would you say most people, if you will ask them, would say, I am for freedom, I am against crime, I am for justice. And yet when you ask them to define those very terms, they will have little agreement. And even you should get some agreement as to what this concept precisely means, then most certainly you will not get any agreement on how to achieve them. Let me ask you this question. What if there is no agreement in physics as to the precise meaning of these terms, gram, meter, second? There is no agreement, for example, as to how much a gram weighs, or what is the time duration of a second, or how long a meter is. Someone will say, well, this is the length of a meter, and another say, no, a meter is from here to the wall, and third say, no, a meter is from here to Los Angeles City Hall. Oh, no, it's from here to the nearest star. If there would be that much disagreement, do you think we could get from Earth to the moon? If there was this much disagreement, this much semantic imprecision in physics, this much semantic disagreement, you would have total chaos and would not even have science in the first place. If you can see that it's absolutely essential to build the physical sciences upon a foundation of precision semantics, then is it not equally clear that in order to build a true social science, that is too must be built upon a foundation of semantic precision? What definition of freedom, justice, crime should we use? If you had the time, could you devise 1,000,000 different definitions of freedom? All right, here is an interesting question then. How can you approach the problem of selecting what one might call a right decision, correct definition, in the process of building a semantic foundation for a science when the number of definitions you can have for any definition approaches infinity? How do you know when you have the right one? There is a problem that we must solve, because who is to say that my definition is any better than yours? Before we take a break, the last thing I'm going to discuss with you is prerequisites for understanding of this course. By that I mean the prerequisites necessary for you to acquire value from Roadmap to Freedom project. There are three, actually. First is intellectual curiosity. What does it mean? Well, intellectual curiosity, individual is genuinely interested in the acquisition of new knowledge for his own personal profit and enjoyment. If a person is intellectually curious, you don't have to beat him over the head with new knowledge because he goes after it. He wants to know. He must know. He must learn. This is the first prerequisite, because before you will ever know anything on the subject and understand it, you must first want to know and want to understand. And there is no exception. If you are not interested, you will not understand. A second requirement involves the ability of the individual to make what are called rational value judgment, rational thought process. I will later go into that, into the nature of the rational thought process. But what this means and how to achieve it. How can you test any view or any position on any subject anywhere at any time for rationality? I will teach you how to do that. A third prerequisite is called intellectual honesty, the rarest one. This involves the ability of the individual to arrive at conclusions through only the employment of rational thought process. If you are intellectually honest, the conclusions you reach are not based upon tradition, emotion, authority, dogmatism, or what have you. Next time we meet, we will illustrate those conditions or prerequisites, and you can look into yourself and decide. You will be able to derive value from the knowledge we offer, or it is for you, since you do not have those requirements, a waste of time. Until then.